TG Geeks, episode 121, June 12th, 2017. Mummies, memes, and man-bats? Hello and welcome to another webcast from TGGeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery, sci-fi, comics, film, horror genre. You name it, we talk about it. I am Keith Lane, and we are coming to you from TG Squared Studios in hotter than the surface of the sun, Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington, also coming to you from, but it's not supposed to be that hot today, Phoenix, Arizona. And I have to add something. I was really impressed when you said man-bats.
Oh, yeah?
Deeply impressed, because I don't know if there is a character named Man-Bat.
Oh, really?
Yes. And he's part of the whole Batman greater universe.
Oh, really?
Yes, he really is.
I was going for the MMM with the mummies,
Oh,
memes, and
okay.
Mum.
I get it now. Well, still, I was deeply impressed with that. Nice.
I don't even know who Man-Bat is.
You don't want to.
Anyway, we're going to talk about a couple of things here, and this is kind of a show of miscellaneous today. One more time.
Another M word.
There we go. Miscellaneous. And miscellaneous man-bats.
Right.
So here we go.
Well, just this last Tuesday, we had the great pleasure.
Well, yeah.
Well, so, yeah, we saw The Mummy.
The Mummy.
Da Mummy. Now I'm going to admit, I went into this with great skepticism to begin with. I mean, I was not expecting much. And I'm not saying that I went into this expecting it to be a bad movie, because I wasn't. I went in there thinking that it was not going to be a good movie.
Well,
and I had certain hopes, because, I mean, The Mummy classically is a horror monster.
Right.
And even when it was initially remade, I mean, Boris Karloff was the first person to ever play The Mummy, and during several of its earlier remakes and sequels, whatever, it was still treated with that horror monster kind of aspect. And then it got rebooted in the 90s with Brendan Fraser, and that became more of a... It was an adventure flick. In fact,
adventure fun comedy type of.
Right. It was as I said in the review that we ran. It was a 1999 adventure popcorn film. Yeah. You know, it could have been an Indiana Jones type flick, in the tone that it took. So going back, and I'm not saying that was a bad thing.
No.
Those were fun movies. They understood what they were trying to make then, and now they were coming back to something that's supposed to be more serious. So I was hoping that we could really see a relaunch of big, classic monster movie horror.
Right.
That's what I wanted.
Well, and I would like to see a horror mummy film as well. Mm-hmm. And I think considering this was Universal's attempt to launch the dark universe,
right?
I think with this film, I don't know what they were trying to do. If this is any indication of what it is they're wanting to do with their new monster franchise, shall we say, or Dark Universe franchise of their classic monsters, I'm a little skeptical.
Well, they're trying to create basically their own monster Justice League. It's sort of actually it's more in lines with kind of like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah,
because you've got Russell Crowe, who's playing a rather unusual individual with dual personality issues.
Yeah.
So with that, plus not only just the Mummy itself, but Tom Cruise's character now, who clearly is now he's going to be the linchpin in all of this.
Yeah, and he really, his character, original character, kind of comes off as a bit of a jerk.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's not likable.
And unfortunately, I'll have to say this, that Tom Cruise is playing Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Or he's playing the same character that
He
he's
really
always
is.
played.
I mean, whether
this was another Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah, Tom Cruise has become what you would call a star. He's not what you would consider a method actor. Although he can turn out a really, really great acting performance when he wishes.
Yeah.
But he's not a method actor. He's not Dustin Hoffman.
No.
Who can just, completely transform himself from one movie to another. I mean, Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise.
Right.
So what we got was just another Tom Cruise film.
Exactly. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted something more from that.
I really was hoping that we would see a return to horror. The fact, of course, now that we understand that Universal's trying to create Dark Universe, okay, maybe we need to look at this again.
Maybe change our perception of it.
Right. Maybe our expectations are completely off the mark. I wanted a horror film. I didn't get a horror film. Although I just read some comment. There's a guy who runs he posts a review, and he takes his kids to see these movies, and I think they call it Monster Kid Theater. I know, it's cute. And he took his oldest son because he felt that his oldest son was now old enough to be able to take some of these kinds of darker tones. And they thought it was quite horror-esque, with some of the zombies, But to me, I was looking at that, okay, it's Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Which is more tragic. I mean, but I didn't really feel horror except for just a few moments. And when those moments hit, I thought, oh my God, this is great. But they didn't last long enough to kind of really take me over that emotional edge, like you're climbing the top of a roller coaster and you're about to go down, and you get that fear inside of you, like, oh my God, what am I doing? That kind of a horror emotional roller coaster ride is what I was hoping for. And it almost gets there, but it doesn't quite cross it. And the rest of the time, it's an adventure flick.
Yeah, and if that's what they're going for, then fine.
Well, then I think it succeeded. It's just not what I wanted.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying. Again, I think I even said this in the review. So, people, if you want to know what I really think about it, check out the review. It's on our website at tggeeks.com. We will have a link for it in the show notes for this episode. But
it's not a bad film.
It's not a bad movie. It's just not what I wanted.
It really kind of is a mediocre, and it is an action adventure Tom Cruise film. And if that's what you like, then great. But that's not what I was wanting.
I would like. I don't want to see Universal actually reboot and create this universe that is sort of another action-esque franchise ensemble film. Because they're going to be bringing in the Invisible Man, they're going to be bringing in the Bride of Frankenstein, they're going to be bringing Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I think there's one other that they're bringing in. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. The Wolfman.
Right.
Yeah, the Wolfman's going to be in on this one as well. So we've seen really, really old horror films where they did bring these other monsters together. House of Dracula, House of Frankenstein, and they were horror films. Well, Bride of Frankenstein was Frankenstein and Frankenstein's Bride, but there were actual ensemble films that had multiple characters. House of Dracula and House of Frankenstein both had John Carradine.
Costello meet the mummy.
Hardly.
You said more characters. You meant monstrous
characters.
I see. Well, Three Stooges could be kind of monstrous sometimes.
That's not horror. It's just horrible.
Now, don't offend our audience.
Me? Moi? Never. But when you looked at like House of Dracula or House of Frankenstein, I mean, you got Boris Karloff. You had I'm not sure if Karloff was in that, but I know you had John Carradine playing Dracula. Lon Chaney Jr. was the Wolfman. There were quite a few characters who were in those movies, but they were horror.
Right.
And given the sophistication of today's audience, and as we've seen with independent filming, that you could really create some very intense horror-type movies.
Yeah.
I really wanted to see Universal go down this and reclaim their legacy
exactly
as the horror movie studio that they were back in the 1930s. And it didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm disappointed. I mean, again, as I said, if adventure thing if that's what you want, then this movie could very well be up your alley. But by no means was it up ours.
Yeah, it's a quick romp and action adventure. So.
Yeah, and lots of Tom Cruise, who looks like he's had a little bit too much Botox.
Well, that too. And that's it for The Mummy.
Yeah.
Welcome, curious listeners. This is Jackson Stewart, director of Beyond the Gates. Continue listening to the Two Gay Geeks podcast if you dare.
Oh, I guess I'm supposed to talk here, huh?
Maybe.
Here are a few selected birthdays for June 12th through June 18th, 2017. June 12th, Chick Corea.
I got to add something. I had a guitar instructor who actually played with Chick Corea.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's incredible. That is incredible.
Yeah.
Also on June 12th, Jim Neighbors. June 13th, Chris Evans.
Who just extended his Marvel contract to one more film.
How about
Yay!
that?
We get one more movie after this first Infinity War film. We're going to get one more movie with Chris Evans. Yahoo!
Yeah,
I'm happy.
Yay. And also on June 13th, we have Richard Thomas.
John Boy.
Yeah. And also Paul Lind.
Have to feed the kitties.
Have to feed the kitties. That's a story we've told a couple of times.
We've told a couple of times, but what was so great is that became a meme on the Frank DeCaro show. I was so thrilled.
It was great. We heard somebody tell that story, and it was...
Well, it's outrageous.
It was outrageous. It was in West Hollywood, and it was like a Vons or a,
It was
Safeway
some kind of grocery store or something.
Yeah. And he rolls up in his limo and gets out in his house
caftan.
coat and his caftan, yeah. And he
bumps
just
into a friend of ours, and
he just stops and he says,
I have to feed the kitties. And then he takes off. And I shared that on the Frank DeCaro show on OutQ, and Frank just died, and he says, I need that story to be true. And I said, trust me, Frank, it is.
It is.
And that stuck around for about a week or so. I mean,
Yeah.
people would be randomly calling in and saying that I have to feed the kitties.
Have to feed the kitties. And then also on June 13th is Mary Wicks, who is best known for the innkeeper or the hotel clerk.
The Miss Busybody.
Miss Busybody in most films. And
White Christmas, though, is
and
the
White
one that you really
Christmas is
remember
the
her
one
for.
yeah. Also June 13th, Basil Rathbone.
Probably, one of the original Sherlock Holmes.
Yep. June 14th, Boy George and Burl Oves.
Speaking of White Christmas.
Yeah, Burl Oves. Back of the throat. Oves. And Oves.
Ooh!
Oh, no, more in the back of the throat. Ooh, as in surprise and alarm. Yes. Anyway, Burl Ives.
Boy, did we derail. We hijacked our own show.
Oh, my God. Well, that's what it's all about. And also on June 14th, my cousin Kathy Falconberry.
Happy birthday, Kathy.
Happy birthday, Kathy. June 15th, Neil Patrick Harris, who actually is from Albuquerque. And
That's right.
I was living in Albuquerque when he was growing up there.
Never met.
Yeah, never met. It was interesting. Also, June 15th, Jim Varney, who has done many, many things.
Yeah,
He was
but I think-
Ernest and Slinky Dog.
Slinky
and
Dog.
Toy
Although the
Story.
Ernest stuff is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's dorky, but I love him as Slinky Dog
Yeah.
in Toy Story.
Yeah, he was doing Toy Story 3 just
Before he passed away.
just weeks before he died.
Yeah.
So, and also on June 15th, Helen Hunt. Wouldn't have been my first choice.
Yeah.
I
I Panic. You have to see the second of the Mad About You Thanksgiving episodes, and you'll get the joke.
Yes. Also on June 15th, David Rose.
Oh, another a holiday composer of sorts.
He wrote a lot of the music, or rearranged a lot of the music for the Disneyland holiday soundtrack on Main Street. He was also a husband of Judy Garland at one point.
That's right.
Also, June 15th, Edvard Grieg and Matt Chesson, a friend of
Oh.
ours who is director of a film called Focus.
And interesting enough, his partner in the film, Jeff Lynne, just had his birthday last week.
yeah, actually,
It's today as of when we're recording this.
As of the day of this recording, if I could get that out. June 16th, Geronimo 1829 to 1909. And also on June 16th, Jack Albertson and Stan Laurel. June 17th, Barry Manilow.
Oh, I've listened to a lot of his music lately. I'm kind of having a bit of a high school nostalgia period. So yeah, I've just been listening to his music just like crazy while I'm at work.
Yep, Arthur Darvill and M.C. Escher.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Escher.
Good touch.
Born in 1898. And June 18th, Mr. Sir Paul McCartney and Ms. Carol Kane.
Liar!
Yeah.
Humpadink.
Humpadink. That's it for the birthdays this time. Oh, well, you just quit.
It's not supposed to.
Technorama, the podcast for geeks, because geeks are better than cool. You don't hear someone say, "Get away from me, you cool person." Who's gonna have their 65-inch home theater system installed by the Cool Squad? Not me, that's for sure. How much cool cred do you have? Not enough to care about. Think you'll find any canned unicorn meat at thinkcool.com? It's just a part domain name. They don't even have roadkill in a paper cup. That's why you need to start listening to Technorama, because that's what geeks do. Go to chuckchat.com and listen to Technorama before you turn cool.
Go give a listen to our friends Chuck and Craig over at Technorama. And now...
It's time for the Lookie Feedback Show.
It's the Lookie feedback. Exactly.
Yeah, because there's quite a bit from. I mean, not all of it is from Lookie, but boy, they were kind of busy.
Yeah,
the twins are busy.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and they kind of went back a little bit. So starting with episode 117.
117.
Yeah, I mean, because that's 4 episodes ago, and you had. I guess that was the episode where we were interviewing Clinton John for their opera Copper Queen. And you had the intro, what do opera and a haunted hotel in Arizona have in common? And Lookie had to clearly, they just responded with one little line. Nice setup for the episode.
Well, I thought
it's a good stinger.
I tried to do the stingers so that they mean something to the show.
It doesn't
always work, but
it was good.
Know.
It was good. I liked it. And then moving forward to episode 118, we first got comment from good friend Arkle, and I guess it was Sean Gunn's birthday.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And Arkle says, for me, Sean Gunn will always be Kirk from Gilmore Girls. There's another Gilmore Girls connection to us now. I mean, because we've had 2 connections already. First, when, at both times when we toured Warner Brothers Studio.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I think we really need to watch this show now.
Yeah. Well, we saw, 30 seconds of an episode?
I don't even think it was 30.
Yeah, well, it may have been. It was
more
5.
like 10.
Exactly.
Between 5 and 10 seconds of just one clip of someone walking over to a coffee maker and pouring water into it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, we were on the sound stage for...
Actually, it was the Foley room.
The Foley stage, yeah.
It was a Foley room for that.
Foley room, yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
that was one of the best moments ever. And then also from episode 118, another comment from the twins. And we had given them a shout-out.
As we always do.
As we always do.
They always give us lots of love. We appreciate that.
Right, and you had said they do movie reviews in a rather unique fashion. And I guess the twins loved it because they said, sweet mention, appreciated, thank you. Now, moving to episode 119. And this was our Comic-Con episode. And the twins, again, they start off by saying, nice wrap-up of Phoenix Comic-Con 2017 and commentary on experience. And then I guess one of us says it was very rewarding. I think Saturday was our most productive day in terms of getting reviews, blah, 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 blah. And they commented on sounds like everyone had a great time, which we did. And then, and this is, they put this on the YouTube episode. They commented on our YouTube posting there. And they gave some comments saying, if you're visiting this for the first time, at the 1 hour, 17 minute, 28 second mark.
Oh my gosh, that was the epic episode.
That was a really long
Oh my
episode.
God.
We do commentaries on short films that were screened. Info box has linked to episode page at website. Episode page contains quick summaries of short films that were screened. And we also go over the films screened are mainly thrillers, sci-fi, and or horror genre titles. That was one. Yeah. Well, thank you for listing all that. Look, we really appreciate that. And then we also a week or so ago did a review for Wonder Woman, and friend from high school, Jennifer Capesh, living in Albuquerque now. She said, I never see superhero movies, but your review might be the impetus to change that this time.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Wonder Woman is a great film.
One of the best movies I've ever watched in terms of superhero flicks. I mean, seriously. And I love the Marvel movies to death. I enjoy them. This was better. It resonated better with me. That's all I'll say. And then last week we also announced that we got another Parsec Award nomination.
Yeah.
And we got some nice little praise from Hamish Downey. And he says, congratulations. Hopefully your hard work will be rewarded this time.
Yeah,
well,
thank you, Hamish.
we hope so too, Hamish.
We're
thank you.
actually in the process of putting the clips together today.
Yes. And now, moving forward to our last episode, episode 120, somebody named Alicia CCTX. And this was on our YouTube page. This is in regards to Sense8 and the cancellation, because we kind of waxed on about how upset we were. She wrote, I absolutely love this show, meaning Sense8, and will continue to fight to have it renewed. The petition is up to 400,000 signatures now. Contractually, the show cannot be picked up. We, as a fandom, are tweeting, calling, snail mailing Leto's Lost Flip-Flop. Oh, that's a great idea. Now, for people who don't know, this is in response to another show, and I can't remember which one it is now. I want to say it was Arrested Development, but I'm not sure, where everybody was mailing in something that was connected to the show, and the studio got bombarded with this object. So I love the idea of everybody now actually mailing by post Leto's he was the Mexican actor from Sense8, leading everybody mail in a lost flip flop to the studio to Netflix. Yeah. I think that's a great idea. And then we got more from Arkle about Sense8, and he says, I've not watched Sense8 yet. I wanted to. It's in the queue, but I've just got so many other things I need/want to do that it kept falling by the wayside. And then he adds, parenthetically, my long-planned Twin Peaks rewatch that I've wanted to have done before the new series started, haven't done it yet.
We know about all of that.
Oh, don't we ever. Going back to Sense8, he says, knowing it ends on cliffhanger doesn't help. That, and there's the guilt factor. Now, you get very serious here. My dad saw all of Sense8 Season 1. The Christmas special in Season 2 came out before he died. And he loved it and wanted to talk about it with me because we were those kinds of geeks. It and Stranger Things. I, at the very least, managed to get the Stranger Things pilot out of the way before I flew out to see him for the last time back in November. Yeah. Wow, sorry, Brian. I mean, wow, that I can, but just don't.
And Dallas was a listener of the show.
Dallas was a fan. Arkle's dad. He was a really great guy. He listened to us as well. Especially and back when we were at Slice. We're still sorry that he's gone, and I'm sure you're probably dealing with some emotional issues about that. But don't let get to it when you can. That's all I have to say.
Exactly.
And then lastly, we got a comment from Zachary Wheeler, who's an author.
Yep.
And
He's
we
the
met
author of Transient and Max in the Universe.
Yes,
I read Transient. I'm getting ready to start on Max in the Universe.
Right, you're reading his books. And we met him at Comic-Con.
Phoenix Comic-Con 17. Yeah.
And I'm right now reading Tom Levine, who we also met at Comic-Con. Right. And Zachary says, I'll call him Zach, but Zachary says, thanks for the shout out. It was a pleasure to meet both of you. Hope to see you again next year. Cheers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to get to your books. You know, I got to finish Tom first, and then it's a toss-up. Do I go Zachary or do I go Beth the Cato? I'm not sure which.
Well, I've certainly read 4 books since Phoenix Comic-Con. I read Tom's Party. I read
That's what I'm reading right now.
Transient. And I read Beth Cato's Breath of Earth. Oh my God! What it is! It is an incredible book. It is. I call it. It's an alternative historical fiction with a little bit of steampunk fantasy.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to get to that.
It's a great book, and imagine my horror whenever I finish the book and it ends on a cliffhanger, and I'm saying, when's the next one out?
Oh, don't you just
August.
hate it when that happens?
Oh, my God.
You know, but the fact that, both of these authors, Tom Levine and Beth Cato, are so heavily associated with our favorite Jeannie Koch.
Yeah.
The fact that she pals with these two kind of says something about what she thinks of their writing.
Exactly.
So that to me, that's a great endorsement.
Yeah, and I liked Transient and Party, and I also read Carrie Merrill's Angel Blade, and that was we breezed by her.
That was a quick run by, on her table.
A run by her table because Zachary had pointed her out. He was catty-cornered from her and said, you should go over there and check her book out. And we stopped and talked to her for just like 30 seconds. I picked up a card. I emailed her and we chatted a little bit, and then I picked up her book Angel Blade and was really fascinated by it.
We've got so much stuff to
I
mean, my reading queue is just it's unbelievable, and plus I've got all of these other books that Jeannie has contributed to that I need to get through. Those are have to sit at those are at the bottom of the pile right now. I'm sorry, Jeannie, but I got to get through Tom's, I got to get through Beth's, I got to get through Zachary's first.
Yep. So we appreciate all of our people that comment on our episodes.
Yes, thank you.
And on our articles, everything that comes our way, we really appreciate the feedback. And if you want to comment on our articles, on our episodes, you can do that on Facebook, on tggeeks.com, on YouTube, and you can even call our listener line and leave feedback. It's 469-TG-GEEKS. It's 469-844-3357.
You're listening to the Two Gay Geeks, and this is Eric Elick, film composer.
Well, we got some very, very sad news.
Yep.
And I'm sure by now everybody's heard about it, but we have to talk about it. And that is the passing of Adam West.
Yep.
Boy, was I bummed. I was so bummed out.
Yep.
Really bummed out.
It really affected me.
It did
all
me
day
too.
Yesterday.
I was really down by it.
It was as I was writing the article and I wrote the last line of that article talking about his death. I just almost teared up.
Yeah, I felt it too when I read it. That the way you closed that article, and Keith, yes, you wrote a really beautiful little obituary article on Adam West. We'll have the link for that in our show notes as well, and it is on our website at tggeeks.com. It's a beautiful little tribute that you wrote, and there's just some beautiful things in here.
Yeah.
It was so much.
Just one of those things. I remember watching Batman.
I did too.
I mean, laying on the floor in front of the TV, watching the black and white TV, and of course, then later on watching in color, and it's like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
it's incredible in color.
Yeah,
but it was, it was something from my childhood. I mean, I was 6 years old whenever.
Yeah,
the darn thing started.
I was 4.
And
in fact, I remember my parents bought for me my very first superhero T-shirt, and it was the Batman logo from the TV series, just the logo,
Yeah.
on the front of the shirt. And I remember when I really began to appreciate. I mean, I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and for a second there, I thought, now I'm a superhero.
Yep. Exactly.
I felt like wearing this shirt now is going to make me a superhero.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of impact that Batman has.
Yeah. I mean,
You know, that Adam West's Batman had.
right. And that whole series, I mean, that was while we had other things that were happening. You know, you had the radio, the Flash and Flash Gordon, and you know, all of those things, and then you had the superheroes, if you will, on the Saturday morning serials if you went to the movie theater.
Right.
But I don't recall.
This was-
well, we had when did
Well,
Green Hornet was about the same time.
Green
but it
Hornet was the
after.
same was the same production company.
Right, but it was after.
Green
Batman,
Hornet
wasn't it?
came out. Well, it actually happened at the same time.
Was it?
It might have come in like during the second season
Right.
of Batman, because there's actually a crossover episode
Right.
where it's a two-parter where the Green Hornet and Batman. Turns out that the Green Hornet's civilian identity, he and Bruce Wayne are best friends.
Oh yeah.
So, but neither of them know that each other is some sort of Cape Crusader, and each one thinks the other is a bad guy.
Yeah.
So there, it's a fascinating little kind of crossover thing that was done there.
Right.
But no, prior to that, I mean, we had George Reeves as Superman,
Right.
and I think he was the first televised superhero, because prior to that, I mean, you had Kirk Allen, but I think he was doing I think his Superman bits were in movies. So you had George Reeves as Superman, and then you got Batman.
Right.
But-
Batman was so, and I said in the article, it was so campy, and at 6 years old, I didn't know what campy was. It was just fun.
It was outrageous.
I loved the villains. I loved the whole, you know, and I've always said that I'm not a comic book reader and have never been part of that, because I never found the comic book that really struck me
Right.
as being something that I would want to do. But in a roundabout way, I enjoyed Batman and then they added the little, you know, the boxes or the
POWs, the
power,
bang,
bam,
yeah, things like that.
blam, and
All
of
the
that
sound,
kind of-
all the
Yeah.
hits.
So it was kind of in a roundabout way. I was a fan of Batman, and you know
Well, the show was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
In fact, I kind of wish we'd. I mean, I remember for my birthday last year, you got me the Lost in Space Blu-ray, and now that Bruce, I want to call him Bruce Wayne. Now that Adam West is gone, you know that. I imagine those are just going to go way up in price.
Amazon
Unfortunately.
is sold out.
Yeah.
So.
But Adam's passing is really tragic. He apparently it was a really, really brief but intense battle with leukemia,
Yeah.
because we saw him along with Burt Ward and Julie Newmar
Yeah, it was 3
at
years
Comic-Con
ago.
just
Phoenix
3 years ago,
Comic-Con,
and he was so unbelievably vital.
Yep.
I mean, just he sounded the same.
Yep. And all of them, the chemistry the minute they walked on stage. Oh my gosh, it was.
Well,
it
you
was
know
instant.
that these are three people that are family now.
Yeah, and they enjoyed each other's company. They had funny stories to tell about each other, and of course, Julie Newmar was just.
Well, how do you not adore Julie Newmar?
She was. It was great seeing those three. It was probably one of the best panels that we've seen.
Absolutely one of the best panels I've ever had the pleasure of attending.
Yeah.
So yeah, he passed away. There was a beautiful statement that came from the family.
Yeah.
I love what they call him,
Yeah.
the Bright Knight.
Yep.
That's such a beautiful thought. And Burt Ward commented about how a dear friend of his is now gone.
Yep.
You know, and you had mentioned yesterday, we were talking about this, and you know how Adam was probably a second father figure, because he
Yeah.
was about 20 some odd years older than Burt.
Right.
And yet they were able to convert that into a long-lasting friendship,
Yeah. It's kind
which
of neat.
was just so beautiful. And I'm just so sorry that he's gone. But he left. He lived to a good age.
Oh yeah, and had a big family.
He left
lots
a
of friends,
beautiful.
and he loved his fans.
He did.
Loved
He
his fans.
so loved his fans. I mean, I think back now to the Comic-Con that we were at, and there was just one beautiful moment that you could see affected him. I mean, he was deeply honored. I mean, he was pleased by all the fans that were coming up to ask questions, but there was one gorgeous moment where this man who I would say was in his 30s.
Yeah.
And he comes up and he goes on to say how so impressed he was by Bruce, by Bruce. I keep wanting to call him Bruce Wayne because that's who he is in my head.
Exactly.
And he is to me because he's the Batman I grew up with.
Exactly.
How Adam West's portrayal of Bruce Wayne and Batman, how he really taught us some really good values.
Yep.
I mean, he just wasn't this vengeful Dark Knight that we've got now. I mean, I remember a Batman episode where he lectures Robin. I mean, they're getting the Batmobile and they're going around the corner, and Robin doesn't put his seatbelt on.
Yeah.
And Bruce Wayne or Batman lectures him and says, for safety, you need to have your seatbelt on. And I thought, what a wonderful lesson to teach the kids who are watching this show.
Absolutely.
So you've got Adam West as Batman, and how he's affecting kids. And this guy comes up and he says, you so impressed me with the values and the positive hero that you were, that I wanted to be a hero. And the only way I knew to do that was by joining the military.
Yeah.
And Adam was just like, wow, Semper Fi. I mean, 'cause the man admitted that he joined the Marines.
Yeah.
And Adam West gave him a Semper Fi and just thanked him from the bottom of his heart at how deeply honored he was. And it was just such an amazing thing about how both, how not just Adam, but also Bert and how Julie, how they've really come to love the legacy. And even Adam.
Oh, yeah.
Adam said in an interview, Batman prevented him from getting other roles later on down the road. But when he began to realize that the fans loved Batman,
right,
he decided, maybe I should love Batman too.
Yep.
And that's when he really began to embrace the fandom, started going to the cons and the events and signing people's autographs and giving the fans something really magical.
Yeah, and I think that that's an important thing that celebrities and fans and people that put on cons need to realize that, I think one of the reasons that it affected me so much yesterday is we had seen that panel,
mm-hmm.
and they became part of my life.
Yeah.
And part of my family, if you will. If very,
well, it's a very, very extended type of family. But yes,
but
I mean,
it became, and I think that that's an important thing for fans to go to cons and to go to these panels and do the autograph sessions and the photo sessions, and for the celebrities to realize that, yeah, there's some crazy fans out there. I am your greatest fan.
Oh yeah, I hear.
But
that.
There are those crazies, but there's also all of these people that really adore what they have done and appreciate the work that they've done throughout.
And how it has affected an individual's life.
Yeah, and they become part of our lives,
uh-huh.
And that's why sometimes celebrity deaths or accidents or whatnot affect us so deeply.
Yeah.
Is that we have become so entwined or interconnected with
uh-huh.
their lives and our lives that it's
we kind of get a sense of immortality for some of these people.
It's vicarious sometimes. But
yeah, I mean, I remember meeting James Doohan for the first time at an autograph signing at a Star Trek store, and what an utter joy that was. Or to meet, I mean, you and I actually had the enormous pleasure of meeting George Takei at a private event.
Yeah, I mean, there was maybe 50 people there.
And he talked to us at great length, and it was just you and me.
Yeah, and we talked to Brad.
Brad, his husband.
I mean, oh my gosh, we talked to Brad, I think, longer than
we talked to Brad
George.
Longer than talked to George. Yeah, and Brad's a doll. I absolutely love him to death, and would love to talk to both of them some more. But these fans or these actors, and George Takei is another great example how he's really come to love and embrace the Star Trek legacy that is there. He's almost become like a spokesman,
right,
for Star Trek. And a lot of these actors have. And I think we're now entering an era where now we're past this whole blast it, playing this character has now ruined my life.
Right.
I don't think we're there anymore. I think now, with pop culture being what it is, and with the presence of fandom being what it is, and conventions, in enormous quantities, that it really allows the actors now to embrace these characters. And I think back to like meeting William Morgan Shepherd.
Oh, that was incredible. Yeah. Just walked up and talked to him at FanFest
what
couple of years
an
ago.
Unbelievably sweet man.
Yeah.
I
nice.
just adored him to no end. He's such a genteel man. I mean, a really nice guy.
Yeah. And
Terribly nice. And
everybody that we've met,
but there's something to be, I think you're right. If there's a convention going on and there's some celebrities who are going to be there, and I don't want to say riding on their legacy, because that's a terrible thing to say. But who has got a nice catalog of work, both present and past.
Right.
Go up and talk to them.
Yeah. And
have a chat, because they, and especially if you express to them how much you loved the work that they did,
right,
they're gonna light up.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And somebody posted on Facebook recently that how they have missed several opportunities to talk to or meet certain celebrities that they really revered, if you will. And, how do they do that now? Do they write a letter? And another friend of ours posted back, write to them.
Yeah.
Go to a con, meet them, have a photo op, get a autograph, go to their panels. I mean, it's a way to fill that need in your life, to be a part of that experience.
And I can't speak about other Comic-Cons, so I can only speak to ours, but I think they're all sort of the same, where if yes, you'd have to pay to get an autograph. It's not much in most cases, but you can also, with many of them, not all, but with many of them, you can actually get a photograph at their table.
Yep.
And, at the same time, you get a chance to have a conversation with them,
you get to talk with
chat them up a little bit. And if there's nobody in the line, then you get a really great chance to chat them up.
Exactly.
Because we've seen that with a number of people, where there was, Garrett Wang had like maybe 2 people in line at one point, and he was just chatting them up a storm. So, go ahead and do that. And this kind of sort of dovetails into celebrity attitudes.
Yeah. That sometimes I think that we see that, everybody's entitled to have a bad day, but it's not good whenever you see somebody with the attitude like in Galaxy Quest that
yes,
where they're just sign the autograph and go get away from me type of
by
thing.
Grabthar's hammer. No.
Exactly.
Flick the photo in their way.
And I understand that sometimes going to the cons and meeting all these people, and by the 4th day I'm done.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see the celebrities that really engage the fans.
We were talking a tiny bit about this yesterday, and then I stopped you because I wanted to keep this fresh. But you said something about Roger Waters, and I'm like, wow.
Right. It was you told me the story of how before Roger descended into his
he was
madness.
Spiraling already at this point
and
when it happened.
He spit on his fan at a concert.
Yeah, it was in Edmonton.
And then he realized it's like,
what
my
the
God,
hell have I just? What am I turning
doing?
into?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what inspired him to do The Wall.
Yeah. So then you gotta kind of come back and realize what are you doing, and
why are you doing this?
And it's the same thing for us. Sometimes I bemoan the fact that, does anybody listen to us? And, we have the website and we got 10 hits yesterday or whatever, on certain days. And then we'll have a day that we'll have 100 hits on the website. And then we'll have a day that we got 300 hits. And it's like, it's so up and down. And I just ride this roller coaster ride of, what are we doing and why are we doing it? And then I have to realize, we're doing it for ourselves. Somebody listens to us, and we have to be that way. Otherwise, we become bitter and disconnected from what it is that we're trying to do.
Yeah, I think that happened a bit to us towards the end of
Yeah,
last
we
year.
just because we were just go, and then it kind of took its toll on us. And
we weren't feeling like any kind of feedback or any kind of reward coming out of that. So yeah, we were feeling a little
but
about that, and other celebrities can feel that too. And I think maybe, and that's why we see some negative celebrity attitudes, which takes us back to how important it is for the fans. I mean, there is a healthy way that you can engage with these people.
Exactly.
You go up to them. I remember a number of Comic-Cons ago, the actor who played the first Billy in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Right.
I just went up to him. There was nobody at his table. Just went up to him and just said, thank you. I love what you're doing. I love what you did. I love what you stand for now. And then that same con, we went up and talked to Joe Michael Straczynski.
Yeah.
And we just thanked him.
Yeah.
For Babylon 5,
exactly.
and how Babylon 5 was the first stepping stone for you and I to get together.
Exactly.
And little did it know it would lead to this.
Exactly. So
go engage with them, because many of them. Sometimes, when you live that celebrity attitude,
it might be a little story that they'll cherish.
Right. Well, because I think a lot of times these actors, they kind of get a little detached from, they get insulated from the real world. They don't understand how much they are beloved.
Right.
And the cons are the means by which they can learn that. I think, I'm sure by now Adam West, or, before he passed away, I'm sure he understood how much he was loved. But it's nice to get that validation every now and then. And so there's something very symbiotic that can take place here for the fans. You can feel that need by going up and talking to somebody that has just been that you've idolized as a performer for so long. And at the same time, you're giving that person the love that, they need to keep going, to move on. So there's something to be there's something really positive to be said about fandom and conventions.
Yep, exactly. And before we get to our follow-up items, we have a couple of little things that we want to announce. Next Friday, June 16th, at the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood, we are going to be visiting, and we're going to be seeing Tron in 70 millimeter.
Yeah,
I think there's still some tickets left.
There could be. So yeah, we've got a bunch of friends who are going to be showing up there that who live in the area. But if if you live in the LA area and you want to, I want to know who these Two Gay Geeks are all about.
Yeah.
Hey, come to the Egyptian Theater. I think you can find it on their website.
Yep.
And I think you're right. I think tickets are still available. And besides, you're going to be seeing one of the most mind-bending movies of its day in 70 millimeter.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I can't wait for my
beautiful Egyptian theater.
It is, and
oh
I'm waiting for my eyeballs to melt.
Yeah,
I want my eyeballs to just melt out of my head watching this thing in 70 millimeter.
Exactly.
So that's going to be so. Yeah, we'll be there. We may not be wearing our show shirts, but
we may be.
We
too.
might.
You never know.
Maybe wear the polos.
Yeah.
But we'll be there, and it should be great fun. That will be had by everybody.
Yeah. And also, we are actually going to go to San Diego Comic-Con.
We're appearing at San Diego Comic-Con.
We will be on a panel, at least one of us, maybe both
Hopefully
of us.
both.
Yeah. We'll be on a panel at San Diego Comic-Con on Thursday at 1 o'clock at the library. It's called Heroes at the Mic, and it's about podcasting. We're going to be there, and we'll be there probably for the whole duration, probably Sunday sometime. But we're going to be at San Diego Comic-Con with our show shirts. So
we'll be there. Look us up. Find us there.
Yeah.
We're going to be networking all over the place. Let us know.
A message. Yeah.
Let us know you're going to be down there. Maybe catch an event or two in Hall H. I mean, you can't go to San Diego Comic-Con and not go in Hall H.
Yep.
That's all there is to it.
Leave us a voicemail. You can send us an email and let us know if you're there.
Yeah, we'll love to meet up with you.
Yeah. Say hi anyway.
Absolutely.
And always we have our follow-up items. Thank you to the individual who nominated us for a Parsec Award this year. We thank you profusely. We're working on our submissions at this moment.
Hopefully we'll actually make it up into the finals this time.
Yeah.
I mean, don't have to win, but I'd like to be in the finals.
Exactly.
To me, that's a win.
Exactly. Also, we have a calendar on the website. It has birthdays, cons, film festivals, etc. Let us know if you have something that you want to see on the calendar or other people to see on the calendar, and we'll put it on there. And as you already know, we're huge supporters of independent creators, whether it's filmmakers, comic book artists, or writers, or other type of independent creators. And we're going to see one of our favorite independent creators, an artist today at Drawn to Comics. And we're going to see Janimal and get to talk to him for just a moment. And
Russ Kazmierczak will be there too,
Yeah,
so it'd be great to see him as well.
So they are independent creators, comic book creators. And, you know, if you see somebody that's doing a crowdfunding campaign for a film or a comic book or a whatever, please consider supporting it. Usually you can get in for, you know, very little money, and every dollar helps. And you never know, you might be part of something big. So please consider supporting independent creators. And Phoenix Comic-Con Fan Fest is going to be in Phoenix November 11th and 12th at the Convention Center. More information is to come. I keep checking the website routinely to see when they're going to release Fan Fest information. And Arizona OperaCon on October 21st, 2017, just before the performance of Hercules versus the Vampires. It should be very interesting at the offices of Arizona Opera.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
That'll be great fun.
Stay tuned for more and check out the Arizona Opera, azopera.org.
Yes. Special shout out to both Doctor Who Talking Who on Twitter and the Nazi Punching Scald. They're both on Twitter. First, Doctor Who Talking Who, you can find them at Talking Who. And the Nazi Punching Scald, well, you heard some feedback from him earlier. He is Arkle, and you can find him on Twitter at Arkle. And Doctor Who Talking Who publishes the Doctor Who Fancast Guide, while the Nazi Punching Scald posts the Arkle Times Post Dispatch News. And I mention them because they both carry our stories on a regular basis, and we're very, very happy about that. And then also, Arkle puts out the Incorrect Star Trek Voyager quotes, so you can always check that out. That is on Tumblr. Special shout out to the Sci-Fi Obsession because they republish our stories on a regular basis. You can find them at facebook.com/sci-fi-ob. That is SCIFIOB.
And we want to give a shout out to the Lookie Show. Yes, the twins. We love the twins. We love the love that you give to us on Twitter and on our YouTube episodes. You can check them out on YouTube. Is Lookie Show on YouTube. The twins do great film reviews of all kinds of films, a lot of good old films, and they do in rather unique style. I love the style that they do it.
Special shout out again to the Facebook group, The Gay Geek, because it's an awesome group, awesome people, awesome content. I know I say that every week, but the only reason I do is because it is true.
It's great.
It's absolutely true. I love that page to no end. And turns out that their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves, gave us his permission, his blessing for us to share our episodes there. So we thank you, Jeremiah, from the bottom of our hearts. You can find that Facebook group by going to facebook.com/groups/thegaygeek.
And we want to remind you to occasionally click on our Amazon ads. They're at the bottom of every article that we publish and on the right-hand side. It doesn't cost anything, but if you do choose to buy something from Amazon, use one of our search ads, and we get a little bit of a kickback. And lastly, please, please, please rate us on iTunes, since they're changing the metrics
Yeah,
Apple
we just
is
heard about
changing
that.
the metrics on iTunes.
We'll
for
be able to actually know
podcasts.
who's doing, who's following us there.
Yeah, and who's watching. Well, not who,
Listening.
but how many.
Who's downloading our episodes.
Exactly, and we would appreciate it. It helps us, pushes us up in the list. So rate us on iTunes. Thank you very much. Well, I don't know what we're going to have next time.
No
but
idea.
We'll have something, as always.
Yeah.
We're going to have a show, so we might even talk about the Tron 70mm.
We might very well. I mean, an interview
never
could
know.
easily drop in our laps.
Yeah.
Things are changing at TG Squared Studios in ways that we can't exactly quite talk about yet, but there's a lot of exciting stuff down the road.
There's a lot of things going on, so keep checking us out. And that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We're going to have several links on the page that you can click on and for more information. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TGGeeks. That is 469-844-3357. From TG Squared Studios in Phoenix, I am Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. I bid you peace.
Cheers.